What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Terror Table, a horror movie podcast that is presented by the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. This episode is being uploaded on June 15th, 2020. We decided to not upload any episodes over the last few weeks in light of what's been happening in the world. We are highly sensitive and supportive towards the Black Lives Matter movement and the progress that protesters, activists, and anti-racism allies have been making over the last few weeks. We truly do believe that there are more important voices that you could and should be listening to right now, but we are releasing this episode in hopes to give some of you in your downtime or even at a later date. This episode isn't going anywhere, and neither are we. But today, myself, Buzi, and Kyle are talking about the video game horror film Stay Alive from 2007. This is a very quote-unquote classic Terror Table episode. We share some feedback from our valued listeners regarding our recently concluded Nightmare on Elm Street series. We also discuss what we have all watched and taken in over the last few weeks. Kyle and myself even finally got BRAHMS, so there's that to look forward to. But for the next episode, we will be sharing a very special discussion that we had with producer, writer, and director Michael Peterson. Michael is the writer and director of Knuckleball from 2018, which is now available on Crave, which we highly recommend people checking out before the episode drops. He also produced Harpoon, which we saw at last year's Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival. Another great film. Don't forget to check out our new website at theterrortable.com, where you can find more of our episodes and links to all of our other social medias. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But for now, let's just aggressively blow on our Nintendo cartridge and get sucked into this week's episode of The Terror Table. Young Kings, we have returned. We got your boy Mitch here. Who do I got with me?
Young King Kyle.
And Trap Lord Buzi.
Trap Lord Buzi. How you guys doing?
I'm doing
Good.
just dandy.
I'm fired up for today.
Are you?
Yeah, you got Kyle back. It's gonna be good.
I got a thick bottle of Perrier. Yo, I'm ready for it.
You got a bottle of Perrier ready to pop because we're celebrating 2007 Stay Alive today. It was directed by William.
First bottle ever popped for that. Also, last bottle ever.
Definitely.
Yo, we don't know that.
We're in for a damn treat right now.
All right, boys, let's get into how have you guys been over the last week? I guess, Kyle, we didn't see you on the last episode. You weren't here with us on the Adam McDonald episode. You missed out on a real good one. That was a very fun
if you
episode.
could explain yourself real quick. I'm just kidding.
I was learning how to install carpet on my floor. Didn't do half bad of a job, actually.
Would you say you're a carpet master now?
Not even a little bit.
Do you know? No?
No.
Carpet trimmer? No.
No comment.
Okay.
You don't... Okay. All right, well, so today, like I probably said in this intro, we are talking about Stay Alive from 2007, but before that, we're going to do our normal thing where we're going to just talk about everything that we've taken in over the last week. But we got a couple of emails from some listeners who all partook in our Nightmare on Elm Street franchise retrospective series. So we want to share, a bunch of people send in their rankings, so we figured we'd start this episode off by sharing everyone's rankings. So I think, Kyle, you have an email from our friend John Allison. Shout out, John.
Absolutely do.
Let's
consider this, in a sense, a rank and review, if you will. Okay, yes. So this is from John Allison, the man, the myth, the legend.
John is the only one, I think, who sent a whole email. Everyone else just sent their list, which is totally fine.
It's also formatted in a way that I would format an email, so I really appreciate it. Okay. Hi, guys. Thanks for going through all the Nightmare movies. With the exception of the 2010 remake, this was my first real rewatch for all of them.
Nice.
I didn't catch any of them theatrically, but I did watch each and every one of them when they came for home viewing. The reviews were bad enough for the 2010 remake that I was convinced not to waste my time with it. Good call. My rankings go from worst to best, and I'll only give explanation for one of them. Okay, so then he goes into his rating. Number 9, Freddy's Dream.
Freddy's Dream?
Sorry, Freddy's Dead.
What? Freddy's Dead. Okay.
Number 9, Number 9, Freddy's Dead. Number 8, The Dream Child. Number 7, Freddy's Revenge.
Wait, what? Why the fuck it?
Tied for 5 or 6, The Dream Master and the 2010 remake.
What? Why is it so high up here?
He's a hot take king.
That's a
But
wild.
he also
that is a wild
he has
take.
good points. I've had
Okay.
I've had discussions about this.
And
Sorry.
he does. I can see, and he does explain. So okay,
Yeah.
number 4, Freddy versus Jason. Number 3, Dream Warriors. Number 2, 1984 original Nightmare on Elm Street, and number 1, Wes Craven's A New Nightmare.
Nice.
An interesting
John,
list. I would say
Yeah.
actually I fuck with this list besides the 2010 high ranking. That's
I
just my
think that's the most like out there list that we've got out of all
But
of them. Like that's the one
I
that
can
just
respect this.
but also we got to point out that he admitted that he didn't rewatch that remake. So that makes sense why he ranked it higher.
Well,
Every time I didn't hear it
Well, I think
being
this
called
was-
out, I was worried.
I think this is the first time he's ever seen it actually.
Okay, let's hear what else he has to say
Anyways,
on that email.
okay.
Was he drunk?
So- Contrary to
We
most
know
of the
John only does black tar heroin.
Let's let this man speak through my voice, okay? Contrary to most of the world, I would have to actually put the 2010 remake higher than I placed it. I can
What?
look past higher than like I think he's saying that most people would place it. I can look past the shitty CGI, and I wish they had actually just changed the scenes, which copied the original. But for the majority of the movie, I really dug the ways which terror was building in his victims, and I liked the even grittier feeling. Okay, what knocked it down for me was how sort of rapey Freddy gets when it comes to Nancy. I was totally on board with Freddy being a victim of the parents believing that he was a pedophile and him returning as a vengeful spirit. But then they fucked that all up, which I would agree with absolutely.
Yeah.
Overall, I had a lot of fun joining with you guys revisiting the series, and I had fun with everything but Freddy's Dead, Dream Child, and Freddy's Revenge. Which, I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough. This is definitely a hot take list if there ever was one. But, you know, I think he makes
Those
a good
are the
point.
three most least. Those would be the three least
Yeah.
popular ones. So,
I agree.
for sure.
I think him kind of pointing that out makes enough sense. But thanks so much for the list. This is one to ponder, and I think I'm happy he included some post ramble on 2010 so that we just weren't left hanging on why he liked it.
I have
Yeah,
two
exactly.
points I want to bring up about this before we carry on. I need to address.
Okay.
John, I'm going to talk right to John. So number 1, I cannot co-sign your list. Just 2010's too high. It's wrong. And number 2, I don't like that you're swearing in your emails. I will notify your wife immediately.
No, you got to notify his kid. Gavin hates when he
Oh,
swears.
right.
Sorry, I shouldn't say his kid's name, probably. But yeah,
Let's just dox him while we're at it.
yeah.
Okay, I'm not here for this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sending that in, John. And like, this is just so cool that we had so many. Like, this is only a fraction of the people who actually message us to say that they were watching along with us, which is so cool.
Yeah,
That's a lot of movies. That's a big ask. I get it. We're in a pandemic. People got nothing else going on. But I'm going to go with saying that people would do this even if they were busy.
Yep. That's
It's worth it. It's worth it, honestly.
Yeah.
yeah,
All right,
we're-
Buzi, you want to hit up our boy? Who sent you this message? Is it
My
name's
name's Jeff.
my name Jeff from the So Be It podcast?
Haven't heard from him in a hot minute. Shout out Jeff. So
Stop
gonna go
bragging,
with-
Buzi.
last coming in dead last is Revenge.
Freddy's
That's-
Revenge.
Yep. And then followed by Remake, Dream Master, Dream Child,
Respect.
New Nightmare, Freddy's Dead, Dream Warriors, Freddy vs. Jason,
wow.
and the original. I
As
think that's
someone-
the highest Freddy vs. Jason is on anybody's list.
Where's
It's so
New
weird
Nightmare?
that it's coming from Jeff.
Yeah, it's
Where's
number
New
2.
Nightmare?
New Nightmare's too low, and that's what I'm saying.
New
Jeff's,
Nightmare is the 5th.
Yeah, I don't know
Jeff's
about
a
that.
stupid. Yeah, and Jeff put okay. So as someone who came around to Freddy's Dead, I actually like did. That's like the main thing I took away from this rewatch is for the first time in my life, can say I'm a fan of Freddy's Dead. I never liked it before this rewatch, and something happened to me this time. Don't know if it's the COVID. I don't know what happened.
Oh, if it's the coke, the COVID,
Is it the COVID? Is it the cocaine? Who knows?
Yeah, which one is it? It's one of the C's.
the unagi.
But no, but there's no world where Freddy's Dead lives above New Nightmare. There's no fucking way.
I have to be honest with you guys. At this point, I think I've already forgotten at least 3 of these movies.
Yeah. Well,
Did you like cleanse your soul of all the Freddyisms?
I think at this point, I only really remember my like top 4.
I feel like you probably had a solid week of like walking around and just saying like bitch every once in a while just to get it out of your system.
Yeah, I was definitely a bit more comfortable with lying down bitch after watching this. I actually would have to agree.
Heavy on the B's.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the bees, I'm going to read one from one of our new listeners. His name is Brandon, and he goes by BMan1978 on Instagram.
Wow. Truly, speaking of the bees.
He actually hopped on our very first episode of this Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and then ever since then he's been vocal and messaging us and messaging me personally, and he's been going back and listening to our back catalog, and he's been super awesome to talk to, and he's a big diehard horror fan, so I'm very happy to have him aboard. But the message he sent is, I think my final list was closest to Mitch, which wasn't surprising based in similar opinions throughout the whole podcast. So his list is at number 9. He has the 2010 remake. Good man. Number 8, Freddy vs. Jason. Number 7, Dream Child. Number 6, Freddy's Dead. Number 5, Dream Master.
Wait.
Number 4, Freddy's Revenge. Number 3, New Nightmare. Number 2, Dream Warriors. And number 1, the original Nightmare on Elm Street. That is a respect list. Aside from the Freddy vs. Jason, I will take that one. I dug
Sorry,
it.
I'm not laughing at this list. It's just really funny to watch Kyle go like,
because Kyle hates Freddy's Revenge so much.
That movie is really bad. It's really bad.
That's the one I think that it's even more polar. It's by far more polar. That's the most polarizing one of the whole franchise.
I would have to
series.
agree. I think that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. And I do truthfully love that movie. It's awesome. It's so good.
In my mind, I can get behind that list if you swap Freddy's Revenge and Freddy vs. Jason. Then I would get behind that.
Yeah, okay, wait. Do we know how old he is? Because, like, that's pretty low for like, Freddy vs. Jason. So, like...
That's true.
I'd say he's around the same... I don't know, but I'm guessing around the same age as us.
We just want to know when you had sleepovers, really, is what it comes down to.
In all fairness, I think as much as I do enjoy Freddy vs. Jason, I can understand why someone wouldn't. So that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, that's one that I'll never... you said it the best. I don't need to go on anymore. Last one that we got in is from our boy Rick Blake, all the way from Australia. Mate. Rick has actually been with us.
You guys gave up on that so fast.
No, but like the Buzi, this is something I don't think you and I have talked about enough. But Rick has been one of those guys. I think he's been with us since like pretty much day one.
So was he like a lurker a long time? Because like I know Rick's been like with us a long time, but I didn't realize it was that long.
He's always been very, very active on our Insta and our Twitter and everything. And I don't know, Rick's a guy who I've grown very, like him and I talk quite a bit, or whenever we can, at least. I don't know. I really like the guy. He's great. If you want, you can follow him on Instagram. He actually just opened up his own movie critic page, and he's just at Rick the Movie Critic. So you can follow that on Instagram.
Yeah, him and I are gonna have to have some talks. Like we added each other, and he just dropped like a shitload of bombshells right away.
Yeah, but do you know what I love about that? So why I'm telling, and especially why I can like everyone's got to go and follow Rick the Movie Critic, because Rick has been he watches all the movies that we watch, and honestly, I think 167 episodes. I think he might like maybe 5 or 10 of the movies that we've talked about. But he still stays with us, and that's really cool. Like he definitely like has liked stuff that we've talked about. But it's cool seeing that he's checking out movies, even though like he's like we've been so wrong so many times with him, and he still continuously is checking out our recommendations, and I appreciate that, because you never know when something good's going to come along.
I feel like maybe some people might listen to us just to make themselves like feel better about how they are in their lives.
Yeah, like I'm not a fucking loser like these three. Yeah.
This guy sounds like a Rawhead Rex fan to me, you know?
No, I don't think Rick would be a Rawhead Rex fan. But okay, here's Rick.
Shout out Rick.
No, I don't think you'd stoop that low.
Rick put in last place A Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and then put A New Nightmare, Freddy's Dead, The Dream Child, The Dream Master, Dream Warriors, Freddy's Revenge, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. And he said, might be controversial, but anyway, if we were only talking Freddy movies, he added ratings to all these. I didn't read those, but said, those are my opinions and all the movies. Long live Freddy Krueger. So thanks, Rick. We really appreciate
I want to hear
that.
the ratings. At least give me the top
Jesus
three. Give me the top three. Come on. You don't have to do the whole, just give me
What's the highest ratings?
Yeah.
Okay. A Nightmare on Elm Street got 7 out of 10, but he said that if we were just talking Freddy movies, he'd give it 8 out of 10.
Okay. So that's all I wanted to know.
Freddy's Revenge was number 2, and he gave it 5 out of 10. Dream Warriors is 5.5 out of 10, but that came in 3rd place. So I'm guessing he's like us, where ratings don't really mean enjoyment. I don't know. I'm fucking tired, you guys. Let's get talking about what we've been up to. What have you guys been up to the last week?
Before I get to talking about what I've been up to, I just want to point out for all the listeners, because they'll never be able to see this, that in Kyle's room, he just moved a little bit so I could see it. He has a Under the Skin poster as well as a plushie Snorlax, which really sums Kyle up, and I love it.
Well, yeah, you're right. That's correct.
Guilty as charged.
That is really the best way you could describe my personality and physique.
Kyle, what have you watched this week?
Oh boy, what have I watched? I don't know, Mitch. Maybe we can tag team this one.
Oh boy, are we doing this right off the bat?
Well, I guess so.
Let's
or maybe
do
actually, okay, to change it up, Buzi, I think you should go first.
Yeah, let's do that one last.
Yeah, Buzi, you should go.
Okay.
Buzi.
All right. You know what? I've been kind of vibing with Mitch lately, and when he recommends stuff, I usually will go and check it out. I checked out After Midnight.
Oh,
yes.
Cool. Why are you saying uh-oh?
Well, because most of the time when you do that, you end up going, this is okay.
Your taste? Meh.
Yeah, meh.
After Midnight, starring everyone's favorite Henry Zabrowski from Last Podcast on the Left, which now that they left most streaming platforms, I feel like maybe we can nuzzle in there a little bit. I
haven't listened to the Last Podcast in like 2 years.
Oh, they went over to Stitcher or something. You can only get them on one platform.
Yeah, I think it's Spotify. A lot of people are doing that.
Yeah. No, but we can just kind of nuzzle in there. Okay, so
we're trying to diversify.
Watched After Midnight. Super cool idea for a movie. Rest in peace to the cat. The fuck was that? Henry was super funny this whole movie. Best
the comedic timing is awesome.
The comedic timing is great, and I love that. You were saying about as soon as I saw it coming, the sequence of him singing at the end, I was like, "Oh, this is what Mitch is talking." And I just I knew every word. It was weird. As soon as it started, I knew every word. I don't know. This movie could have been a lot better, but it couldn't have been a lot worse. Do you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times in this, it didn't have anywhere to go, so it kind of just trotted in circles. I think that when it did push the story, it was very interesting, and then I kind of wanted to see more of what happened at the end throughout the movie. I don't know if you can relate on that.
I get it, because it's one of those things, and it's the same thing with Jeremy Gardner made The Battery, where it's a zombie apocalypse film, but it's not really about the zombies or anything. It's more of a drama, and it's very slow burn. And After Midnight's the same thing. But I fucking loved because After Midnight's mainly focusing on him and his relationship and his maturity and his personal growth, rather than an actual just creature feature, which it markets itself as. But I think I see where it definitely could have delved a little bit more into the creature feature stuff, but
I think it's not that I didn't like the movie because of it, but it was more of a compliment to the movie that what they set up was so interesting to me that I wish they would have went down that road a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Some
I
movies,
would
if they
gladly
have
see a sequel to this.
Yeah, some movies, if they have a background story, you don't care that much about, whereas this one is highly engaging, and I wanted more from it.
Totally. The ending is fucking hilarious, though.
It is, though.
It's so funny. And yeah, you're right. Zabrowski is that he was the perfect, that's such a stereotypical trope to have the dipshit friend who's just
everyone's
a foul mouth.
Yeah, everyone's upbeat friend.
But he plays that role probably better than it's ever been played. He's so good in that role.
How long is this movie? Is this
it's short.
It's short, pretty short, yeah.
It's I think it's under an hour and a half.
So you think it's just one of those cases where it could have benefited from another 15, 20 kind of thing?
I think you're going to love it.
Give me more of another story. I think
that sounds up my alley.
15, 20 minutes and to give me a little bit more of the other story would have been amazing.
No, I need to check this out. I like this guy's work, and this sounds like something I think I would dig.
For sure. Cool. Do you want me to knock one off?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound sexual there.
Kyle was down for it anyway.
Yeah, go ahead. Just do it.
I do want to lead off by saying that I did rewatch both Backcountry and Pyewacket in preparation for last week's episode with Adam McDonald. But I feel like I was stroking him enough during that episode that I didn't want to bring it up any more than I already was. But I want to reiterate that the end, everyone's heard me talk at length about Backcountry over the years, so I don't need to elaborate on that. I still love that movie as much as I did the first time I saw it, maybe even more. But Pyewacket's one that I just grow to love more and more every time I watch it, specifically the ending. Like, the last 40 minutes of that movie is just fucking insane. And it's just continuously grown on me, and it's become just such a savage ending. So if for some reason you're out there and you haven't watched Pyewacket yet, please get on that, because it's genuinely great. But one thing I'll lead off with, since we are doing an episode on Stay Alive, I'm going to talk about a video game. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of an older video game. And it's another one I talked about on last week's episode. I finished The Last of Us this morning. I had beaten it twice before, so I'm not going to talk at length about this one, but I just think I decided to do it because The Last of Us 2 is coming out on June 18th, so I wanted to refresh myself with the story. I loved it when I first played it. I played through it twice when it came out on the PlayStation 3. This is my first time on the PlayStation 4, playing the remastered edition. But I just think, these developers, they have some impossibly big shoes to fill with The Last of Us 2. Joel and Ellie's relationship is without a doubt, hands down, the most human and authentic relationship I've seen in a video game ever. And I think everyone listening, if you've experienced this game, you can agree with that. But
have you never played Banjo-Tooie?
Have you not played Gex, Enter the Gecko?
Ratchet and Clank? Sorry,
I do love Ratchet and Clank. I like all those games. But man, this remastered edition is just fucking stunning. Like, I can't believe it took me this long to revisit it on the PlayStation 4. Now we're about to get the PS5. So, but I beat this game in like 2 days. I was up till 3:30 in the morning last night, and I don't know if it's because have you guys both played this game?
I wanted to actually talk to you about the ending before you finish here.
Yeah, well, we definitely will. But have you guys both played it? Kyle, have you played this game or?
Yeah, I do. I have it right here on my shelf.
Okay.
I haven't played it since it came out, but man, that game is like probably the best narrative focused video game I've ever played, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be up there. Yeah, it's like a film. Like, it's unbelievable. But the world building is phenomenal in this game. But last night I was up till because I've just got hooked on it. So I was up till 3:30 playing it. And I got to the tunnels near the end of the game, and it's where it gets actually really scary and tense. And video games tend to affect me way more than movies do, because you're holding a controller, and I've grown to understand the tropes and the timing and the beats of how movies are going to generally scare you, and video games still find a way to surprise me once in a while, and this game does that tenfold. But it was 3:30 in the morning, and I'm at the scariest point of the game. And I don't know if you guys the wind in our city has been insane the last couple days. Our building was shaking last night, and it was just so eerie. And the power went out right at that moment. So it's 3:30 in the morning, and I'm I got adrenaline running through my entire body. I'm not ready to go to sleep, and that was the absolute worst form of blue balls I've probably ever experienced. So I had to wake up this morning and finish it. Well, because I couldn't keep playing. The power was out. You guys are looking at me like I'm a psycho. But I don't know, man.
This is your number one? This is your biggest blue ball moment? All right.
There's been a lot. But I don't know, man. But
what a rough life.
With the world being on fire right now, with the riots and being cooped up inside over my thoughts the last 3 months, the emotional beats in this story just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was a puddle this morning. When I finished this game, I have beaten this game twice, but for some reason it resonated with me way more this time, and I loved it so much. I always have, but it really, really affected me this time. But I can't wait another 18 days to play the sequel. So I immediately jumped into Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, which I guess is David Hopkins, our friend from Area International. He told me that it's the same game developers, like the same guys who...
Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog, yeah.
Obviously, I know it's Naughty Dog, but the actual... Like, Naughty Dog has had a lot of people... Like, you know, they stopped working there after The Last of Us, or like they went on, they after The Last of Us, they immediately started working on A Thief's End, I guess. And man, I'm like 3 hours into A Thief's End and it's fucking unreal. But have you guys played those Uncharted games?
Nope.
I played Uncharted 2 and it's very good.
Oh, Uncharted 2 is my favorite one. I played the first three, but I never got around to this fourth one. But I got it because it was the PlayStation free game of the month like 8 months ago, and I'm finally playing through it. But
I actually mostly played Uncharted 2 for like the multiplayer. It was like a pretty sick multiplayer on that game.
Oh man, that whole game, the story mode is amazing. But that Nathan Drake, he sure lives an exciting life.
He sure does.
Hold on. I don't want to end this conversation without finishing us talking about Last of Us here.
Okay, tell me. Hit me.
Spoilers?
I don't know if kinda. Okay.
The game's 6 years old.
At the very end of the game, you're in the operating room, and you have a choice of whether you can viciously destroy everyone in the room, or you can just simply walk away peacefully. I have never killed motherfuckers so fast in my life.
Yeah, I wrecked them. Them all.
You have the choice of like, hey, you know what? We'll call it good, and I'll get out of here. I fucking murdered those people.
That's my new daughter now. That was my new daughter. You do not fucking touch her.
Yeah, no. I guess what I'm trying to say is the emotional attachment you get to that game. Like, there literally is something like very visceral about your reactions when you play it.
Totally. I used the flamethrower on them, if you want to know.
Got him.
Yeah, I completely eviscerated them. But yeah, I'm just here to co-sign on a game that's like 6 or 7 years old at this point. Last of Us is still great. Yeah, everyone.
In case anyone was wondering.
I'm just saying for if anyone out there is looking for some inspiration to replay it again before the new one comes out, fucking do it. Because God, that game holds up so well and it's so good. It's just an absolute masterpiece of a video game. Love it. All right, I'm done on that one, so we can hop on to one of you fellows.
How much do you have, Mitch?
I think I have one other thing besides what you're talking about.
Well,
I have two other things.
I have one other thing, and I know both me and Mitch are going to talk about it.
All right, Perfect. So I guess I'm double teaming this one with you, but I don't have much to say about it, so I can just you go and I'll hop in after.
You talking to me or Kyle?
You Buzi, sorry.
Okay, so checked out. Finally came out. I've been waiting a long time to see this. Finally checked out 2020's The Lodge. And this movie's getting like serious hype. There's a lot of like A24 Hereditary talk, when you're like, ooh, this is that artsy film for the year. Definitely think it probably is. Honestly, I loved this movie so much. You had there was so many things going on throughout it, and by the end, it is so dark and twisted. It is filmed so well. They don't show you a ton, but then at the very end, they give you so much. It is amazing. I would highly recommend anyone check that out. I actually had a conversation with Bryson, who usually we like the same things all the time, but he wasn't feeling the same on it. So I don't know. There's been a little bit of mixed reaction. I haven't heard what you think about it, Mitch, but
I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah,
I fucking loved it.
I didn't want to ruin it for you because I know you were texting me when you were about to watch it, and I think that's the thing is it's one of those movies. It's made by the filmmakers who made Goodnight Mommy, which is another movie where I feel pretty much the same about Goodnight Mommy as I do about The Lodge. The Lodge. I didn't mean to sound French.
Lodge.
The Luge. The Luge. No, first of all, love Riley Keough. Riley Keough is fucking awesome. I love her and everything that she's been. Time for her to change it up, though. She's played this character so many times. There's so many times where Riley Keough has played this broken, weird, damaged woman, and it's getting kind of old. And I would like to see her try a different role. I guess she was really great in Logan Lucky, another film that she was in. But
she's great in American Honey as well.
Yeah, and okay, so I didn't not like. Okay, so I didn't hate The Lodge. I couldn't buy into it. I had similar issues with Goodnight Mommy, and I know I take a lot of heat for this on the show, where I pick and choose which movies I have problems with plot holes with. But it was within the first 20 minutes, the story took me out of it. I just, I don't know. I haven't seen the trailer even. I avoided the trailer. Is it a spoiler to say what the movie's about?
I don't think so.
Like, so the husband, like this guy,
we can't say any, we can't. How much do you want to talk about? I'm worried.
I'm just saying, I don't buy for a fucking second that any father, shitty or not, would allow their kids to stay with a psychopath like that a week after their mother shot herself in the head. And this chick just escaped a suicide camp. This is all within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
But so I had trouble buying into that. So like that.
Listen,
that was
it's a party and everyone's invited. Okay.
Everyone except for the dad. It's just the kids. Yeah. It's a party and only the kids are invited. And I don't know.
It's Aaron's party.
Yeah. It lost me a couple times, but it's definitely a beautiful looking movie. It looks really good and it's well acted for the most part. Like it has that what's his name? The kid from It Chapter 1 and 2. He was like decent enough, but I didn't think that the characters were well fleshed out enough. I thought everything looked so good aesthetically, but I just didn't buy any of the motivations or any of the things that ended up happening. It didn't connect with me at all. So it was a disappointment for me, but I'm happy you loved it.
That's a bummer. That's a bummer.
Yeah,
I thought you would have loved it.
No, and I've seen a lot of people really like it. Maybe I need to give it another watch, like because like there's been like look at Dr. Sleep, Midsummer, 2 movies that I fucking love now that I was like lukewarm on when I first saw them.
Mitch, were you off the gas on this one?
No, I was definitely on the gas on this one, but I do think I could use it. I could give it another watch. But it just it's the worst when like the first like 20 minutes takes you out, because then for the rest of the movie you're doomed. You're thinking about that for the rest of the time, and it's when everything else is so good. It's kind of like A Quiet Place, like where I do like that movie, but there's just a couple little things that bothered me.
You and me have such weird qualms with that movie.
I know, yeah, we are definitely the fuckheads who have issues with A Quiet Place, but at the same time, whatever, it's our opinion. But yeah, no, it's definitely, The Lodge is still, without a doubt, one of the movies that if you're a genre fan, you should definitely watch it for yourself this year and make up your own mind.
Because it is Kyle should check it out.
Yeah, it sounds like I need to watch this.
It's definitely proving to be very polarizing too. Like I've seen some people like you, Buzi, you said that it's like you can already tell it's going to be one of your favorites of the year. And then I've seen some people who are just like surprised by how much they didn't like it. And that's great. It's better than going into a movie where the hype is so huge or everyone says they love it and then you end up not liking it and you feel like an idiot. This one's just all over the place.
Oh, so it's like you guys with Brahms the Boy too.
Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah, so that's a logic. Is that all you've watched this week, Kyle? Or Buzi, do you have anything else?
What?
Did you watch anything else?
I'm good. That was it.
That was it? Okay, I have one last one. So if you want, I can cover that one, Kyle, and then we can hop on to the last thing that both of us watched. So I checked out one of Adam McDonald's picks for his apocalypse films, one of his top 5 favorite apocalypse films, one that I cannot believe I'd never heard of until Adam talked about it, These Final Hours, which is an Australian apocalyptic thriller. And it was directed by the director of 1922, the Thomas Jane movie that went to Netflix, the Stephen King story. Buzi was a big fan of that one. I liked it quite a bit.
Really good. That was really good.
Director Zach Hilditch. But okay, so These Final Hours came out in 2013, and it's starring Nathan Phillips, who I only have seen in Wolf Creek and Snakes on a Plane. I guess he was in Chernobyl Diaries as well, but I don't remember any of that movie. But what I will say about this movie is this is a fucking awesome movie, and I cannot believe I hadn't even heard of it until now, because man, did this movie blow me away. And it, like, Courtney was just like in a puddle for the last 20 minutes. Like, we were so into this movie.
Why are you guys always in puddles? What is going on over there?
We cry a lot.
Puddle that?
Yeah, we cry a lot. But I do think the IMDb synopsis doesn't do it justice. I'm going to read it right now, but the IMDb synopsis is: a self-obsessed young man makes his way to makes his way to the party to end all parties on the last day on Earth, but ends up saving the life of a little girl searching for her father. Their relationship ultimately leads him on the path to redemption. So this movie was fucking amazing. Highly, highly recommend it to anybody out there who's looking for... Why are you guys laughing?
Sorry, you just like slowed down a little bit and it sounded really funny.
It sounded like you like remixed saying redemption.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Redemption.
Okay, but basically, guys, this movie, like, I think Australians make some of the best movies out there. Like, some of my favorite movies the last 20 years are Australian films, like horror and non-horror. Like, they... Name 20. Snowtown Murders, Killing Grounds, Loved Ones, Devil's Candy, like all those are Australian made films. The Hounds of Love, I love Australian filmmaking. Like there's so much talent coming out of that place. But
Rogue?
Yeah, Rogue is great. Anyways, this movie is like it takes place hours away from when the world is actually going to end. Like a meteor is about to hit Earth. And that's why, like, this is one of the best meditations on that subgenre of apocalypse stories. Like, this is such a tired subgenre at this point, where we've seen, you know, The Walking Dead, and we've seen all these end of the world movies at this point, like, where it feels like almost everything has been said. But this movie really explores like the darkness that would take over the world in those last few hours, like what people would do with those last few hours on Earth. And it's really, really dark. It's very depressing at times, but then it's just it's intense and it's heartwarming, it's heart-wrenching. And I absolutely loved it. And I think it's definitely one that people need to look out for, look for yourself if you haven't seen it before for yourself. Highly, highly recommend it. But that was These Final Hours.
If it was the last hour on this earth and all the candy that was left was only in one baby's hand, would you punch that baby for the candy?
Fuck that baby. That baby's not going to eat the candy.
I wouldn't do it.
You think that baby's going to eat the candy? It depends how hungry I am.
Man, I don't have much of a sweet tooth. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's holding a banana, I don't know what you eat.
Yeah, we got to find out what Kyle's... What if it's holding
what does Kyle eat?
What if it's holding like a yellow Game Boy Color with a Pikachu Game Boy or Pikachu Pokemon in it?
Yeah, kid's gone.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, it's on site.
Yeah, kid's gone on site. Kid might as well be 12.
Fuck 12.
Fudge 12.
All right, wow. Kyle, you lead it off. Explain to the world what we did for everyone last night.
Well, first off, breaking news, everyone. I watched a movie this week, so I would appreciate some applause from the audience. Clap, clap, clap.
To be fair, yes, you have not had stuff to contribute in the pre-features, but you've still been watching 3 movies every week the last couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mitch. I appreciate it.
You've kept it hard 100.
Yeah.
You've kept up with your homework.
Been fully torqued. Okay, so... The movie, though, that I watched this week was none other than BRAHMS the Boy 2.
We got BRAHMS, bitch.
Which,
Kyle and I both got BRAHMS last night.
Oh, I actually wasn't going to tell you that I watched
a double shot.
I kind of had to.
Yeah, I texted Kyle at like 1 a.m. I was like, "Hey, you up?"
And I was like, "Well, kind of." And I said,
and he sent me a picture of Katie Holmes' face on the screen, and he's like, "I guess you could say that."
Bad. Okay, so Buzi, was it last week that you watched this, or was it the week before? I can't remember now.
It was the week before.
I think it was the week before.
It's been a while, but you saw it.
Patient Zero.
I think going into this movie, like, how do I even describe it? Okay, so this is directed, of course, by William Brent Bell, which is relevant for this week because the main feature, Stay Alive, is also directed by William Brent Bell, which I had no idea about, actually.
That's crazy. You didn't know that.
I didn't know that. And I don't think Stay Alive was like strictly my pick. I just thought of it. I guess it kind of was. I just like brought it up one day.
That's a very Kyle movie.
You just
pick.
spoke it into existence.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really just thought about it and like out of nowhere. But for months now, basically the whole year, we've been joking strictly about the name BRAHMS the Boy 2, if anything. The movie also was getting terrible reviews. So, I mean, there's that. And I can confirm that this movie is indeed terrible. It's like really bad. And the thing about it is this is the kind of movie where I was wanting to have a fucking blast with it. It's easily a movie I think I could have had a fucking, like, honestly, I think I could have, like, got drunk and had a great time watching this movie in a different universe. But unfortunately, we live in this universe, and it's terrible.
Yeah. There's no way this is fun in any world. It's boring.
That's exactly it, Mitch. It's boring. It's really, really, really boring.
It's stuff that hasn't worked for over 20 years, but for an hour and a half straight.
It's like, I don't know. I guess, like, let's say you're in grade 10 and you have to do a Halloween assignment on anything to do with the holiday of Halloween. Whatever anyone was to come up with, that is Brahms the Boy 2.
It's the most generic story ever. But it also makes no fucking sense.
The best part about this whole movie, in my mind, is that you have to... The movie expects everyone to just think that, like, a doll is creepy. Like, the doll doesn't even really do anything, but you have to just... They want you to think that the doll is terrifying, but it does nothing. It's so... It's really hard to watch. Like, it was 90 minutes, but it felt like 900 minutes. Like, it took me 2.5 hours to get through this movie. I had to pause and contemplate my life, I think 3 or 4 different times. It's like, I actually wanted to like this movie, and that's what's most disappointing about it. The kid was terrible.
I think that's on you, Kyle, honestly. I feel like you just put all that pressure on yourself.
No, the movie fucking sucks. It's terrible.
The kid was really bad. Katie Holmes did her best, but she was still pretty bad. And I need to actually agree with you, Buzi, that she does look like a young but still old Sally Field.
I gotta point out, though, okay, so I can now add context to Buzi's complaints about her image, which is just disgusting. I would never comment on a woman's image on our show, so I personally, though, I think...
You know how often you throw me under the bus?
Wow.
Anytime like someone mentions Get Out, yeah, Buzi's racist. God damn it.
But what I figured out about Katie Holmes is just natural. I think she looks great. I think she looks really good in the movie because she does
look old. Like she looks older than
she's aging. Yesterday. She's aging naturally. She's not being loaded up with plastic surgery like everyone else.
It's just I haven't seen her in a while. She was just all of a sudden older.
Yeah, but she does. Yeah, she definitely. I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
She does not look bad, but she looks a lot older.
Yeah, I can. The last time she was relevant in a movie that I cared about was Batman Begins.
Jack and Jill.
So. Yeah, see, I've never seen that. So, but I've always, like, I grew up with Dawson's Creek. I always had a crush on Katie Holmes. She's also a good actress. But unfortunately, the script is fucking terrible. The main problem, I think that the direction in this movie is fine. I think it's a good looking movie. It's a really good looking movie. And I think that can be said. Can I hop in here, Kyle, to start talking a little bit?
Yeah, get in there.
I don't know. So, Kyle, we gotta add some context here. Kyle hasn't seen the original, The Boy, from a couple of years ago. So that one, admittedly, I found that installment to be surprisingly enjoyable. I thought that movie was going to be terrible, and I ended up really liking it enough for what it was. I had a good time with it. I
watched it and liked it too.
It wasn't terrible. It was totally serviceable, and it had some cool twists and turns, and it had some solid performances, like with the chick from The Walking Dead. And what's that, Buzi?
Do you mind if I interject for like 2 seconds?
Yeah.
You know what made The Boy good when it came out? Not good, but what it made it stand out from what everyone said it was trying to farce is obviously they're trying to cash in on the whole Annabelle thing, right?
Yeah, and it twisted on that.
It did. Yeah, that's the thing. It twisted on it. It gave you one premise and then, completely sold another one. Whereas like this one is like they took all the bad ideas for what The Boy should have ripped off and made that a movie.
That's exactly what it is, Buzi. Is that I remember, I'll never forget being, I can't remember what movie it was, but I had like a row of like 7 or 8 of my friends, and we all went to see a movie. And when the trailer for the first Boy came up, like one of my friends was like obnoxiously laughing, and I was like, man, don't ruin this for other people. But like he actually was like, that looks fucking stupid. And then I eventually was like, yeah, you know what, it doesn't look great, because what I expected was this. From the first Boy, I thought that it was going to be like The Boy 2. The first Boy is nothing like this. And that's why it's like, my biggest thing with this movie is I have no idea who this movie's made for, because The Boy 2 is not made for the fans of the original movie, because it completely abandons all of those story plots. It retcons the original. It has the same writer and the same director. It is 3 fucking years later, and they retcon everything.
It's
or
not
they
for
try
anyone.
They sloppily try to like splice in like how the kid has the BRAHMS mask somehow for some fucking reason. Oh my god, it's so stupid. But then it's not for adults because it's way too silly for adults, and no adult would find this scary. And also, we all know that like all these tropes and these story beats, they've gotten old 20 years ago. Like this is Jump Scare Express, and it's just annoying to watch. This was an annoying movie. This was annoying to watch, and it was infuriating to watch, and it was just boring.
I don't think it has any right to exist, is kind of how I think about it.
I don't understand where they were coming from with this. Like, this is the best thing you had for a sequel. And that's the thing, is it's like all the same people are involved. What happened? They could have brought so much more to the first story. Like, which, Kyle, I still think you should watch The Boy 1 just so you can have some references. Like,
I think you'd be surprised by how good, like, not by how good, by how serviceable the first one is. The first one is a decent horror movie.
I have nothing against watching The Boy 1. I never have anything against watching this. The only thing I remember about The Boy was that it had a pretty dope Snapchat filter. So shout out to The Boy.
Yeah, totally. But the thing is, this movie is way too boring for kids. There's no way this couldn't be a sleepover movie. Like,
there's, for example, too much family drama for a kids movie.
Yeah, for example, Stay Alive, what we're going to talk about right away here, is 100% a sleepover movie, because I had a sleepover and I had fun with my friends watching that movie when I was a kid. Right. And it's like there are those movies, but The Boy 2, BRAHMS, whatever the fuck this movie's called at this point.
BRAHMS Boy 2.
Yeah, I just don't have any idea who this movie is made for.
I don't know. I guess maybe fans of Phil Collins, because his daughter Jolie Collins is in it. I don't know.
Good pull. That is good also, info.
Yeah, my last, and also like this movie's confusing too. Did you notice that?
It makes no sense. Yeah, there's okay, so Ralph Ineson is in this movie from The Witch.
He's great, and he's not great in this movie. He's good because he's a good actor.
He's also a good Doolittle.
This poor man.
No, but he's good. Like, he's the dad from The Witch. Like, he's a good actor.
Yeah, and he plays alongside Robert Downey Jr., of course, in Doolittle.
Have you ever seen that yet?
You're really trying to push this Doolittle narrative here.
We're not even going to try to talk about Doolittle right now. Anyways,
that's just you.
But like, I'm not going to say what happens. Like, I don't know. I don't need to spoil this whole movie, but like, he plays a pivotal role in the film, and that, like, at that point, this movie it couldn't even attempt to make sense. Like, I get the impression from the first film, and I can't speak on it solely because I haven't seen it, but I understand that there's probably a couple plot twists, like turns that the movie takes to make it interesting, or I don't know, even like give 100%. Perspective to what you're talking about, like an animal type film. But in this movie, it's like they just want to keep doing that for like the last half an hour as many times as possible. There's like 3 different twists that change the entire meaning of the film, and they never make sense, not even once.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot about the flaming butthole of a face that BRAHMS has at the end.
Yeah, he looks like an infected chocolate starfish.
Looks like an infected butthole. Yeah, an asshole.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, if you want to watch a movie about a kid with an imaginary spooky friend, just watch Z.
Z's much better. Z's much better than this.
It did actually remind me of Z in some ways, and like
where you could be like, I could be watching Z.
Well, yeah, and Z, like, it takes a more like succinct like approach to it. It's just it's contained. It makes more.
It tries. It swings a little bit. Yeah, like,
I don't know. The idea of a kid with an evil presence with them is always a cool idea for a movie. It's time and time again we've seen that it works.
Sure,
but this one just kind of distilled it all down to like this weird mud that we kind of had to sift through, and the story made no sense. So I get it. Like, there's no fronts where this movie made sense. I mean, I'm not going to say it's the worst movie I've ever seen, because I've clearly seen Slender Man.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, like, even Z has some like silly moments, but at least they made those moments fun, and they know that they're kind of silly. Like for example, the milk scene, like that's kind of silly, but it's also one of the best scenes in the movie. Like it's a really fun scene. And then the kid drawing on the wall. Also, that kid drawing on the wall in Z, there's no way that kid could draw that fucking the monster in Z. But at the same time, that's not as annoying as BRAHMS making a list of rules for this family to follow. Like, man, and also
just feed the fucking doll. That's all you gotta do. Just feed it.
Feed him and change him. It's not that hard.
No, I just
you fucking idiots.
It takes a drastic turn when all you have to do is like literally break the doll. They never thought of doing that once. Like that makes no.
They didn't want to make
sense.
a mess. It's glass. It's gonna get everywhere.
I guess.
Look at the logistics of this.
What does the dad do for work? Because at one point he says, "Oh, I can work from anywhere," but as soon as they go anywhere else, he has to go back into the city. Like, is he just fucking? Like, what is he doing?
He's cheating on his wife, you fucking moron.
Yeah, I guess his wife is Sally Field, and he has to find someone else.
Yeah, he does look like 20 years younger than Katie Holmes.
Okay, my last thought on this is what do you guys think about Slappy from Goosebumps?
Spooky shit.
With Slappy hard.
See, the whole time I just thought wish Slappy was there. I just wanted more Slappy in this film.
Yeah.
I could have used Goosebumps 3.
Yeah, even though Goosebumps 2 sucked.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The thing is, with this movie, it's like talking about it with you guys right now is the most fun you could have with this movie. Like, it sounds like a goofy movie that has like some outrageous portions to the film, blah blah blah. But when you actually watch it, it's fucking painstaking. Like it's just not fun.
Yeah, and I need to reiterate, my main problems with the movie is just it's all in the writing. It's just I think the writing is terrible.
It's the story to tell.
Because yeah, the thing is, like, William Brent Bell, and that's happened many times where he's made some movies that I've like really liked. Like, I like The Boy, but like the first one, and then Where is really interesting and it's shot cool, and like well I guess we'll talk about that and Stay Alive. But I don't know. My last thought about The Boy 2 though is that scene with the bullies is like the bullies and the fucking kid with the croquet mallet is maximum level cringe. Like that was atrocious.
That might have been my favorite part of the movie, if I'm being honest.
Oh my god, man!
What was he calling him? Was like, man, shut up! Like
mental. You kept calling him mental. Hey, mental. What a fucking piece of shit. That was insane. But that was in all fairness, that was the only time where I felt like the movie had any personality. So that's kind of why I liked it.
But even that was ripped off from something we watched a while ago. And
that's ripped off from every creepy kid movie. I mean, that is in every creepy kid movie.
It's not like it was an original personality, but it was a personality.
No, it's a movie we covered on this podcast a little while ago. I was thinking the whole time, like, I've seen this somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't.
But I mean, we've done 160 some episodes. So who knows?
Yeah, just watch These Final Hours. Seriously, These Final Hours. Great film.
I'm happy
just watch Doolittle.
I think
just watch Doolittle.
It was important for all of us to eventually get brahmed. So
we had to get brahmed out of our system.
I went through the void first.
Yeah. All right, boys. Do you guys want to get on to Stay Alive?
I think we have to.
All right, let's do it.
Stay Alive? Never heard of it.
Yeah, this could be nice. Sweet Sebastian Bach, I want to play.
Miller, you signed in yet? I'm here.
All right, let's boot it up. The name of this game is Stay Alive. We don't know much else other than we're not supposed to act.
Whoa.
You guys feel that?
Hell yeah.
Oh, what's that? What's that?
Damn it, man, she got me. Some woman, man. Hey, somebody out there?
Miller, who are you talking to, man?
You play the game too long. You know, you start seeing stuff. Hello?
Miller died the same way he died in the game. This can't just be a coincidence.
I think you're right.
Serious, man? Listen to yourself.
Don't you get it? If you die in the game, you die for real.
All right, we have reached the main feature in which we're going to be talking about Kyle Zervinsky's pick, sort of, this week, which is Stay Alive from 2006, which was directed by William Brent Bell, who has also directed films like Brahms, The Boy 2, The Boy, The Devil Inside, Where, and that's all we got for that. But
Stay Alive.
Then Stay Alive. And he co-wrote this film with with Matthew Peterman, who also co-wrote The Devil Inside and Where as well. And the story behind this film is, for a group of teens, the answer to the mysterious death of their old friend lies within the world of an online video game based on the true story of an ancient noblewoman known as the Blood Countess. Right. And this movie is starring we got John Foster. Yes. The brother of Ben Foster.
Yes. And he's also married to Steven Tyler's daughter.
Yes, he honestly the role was originally offered to Ben Foster, but Ben Foster passed the role off to his brother because he felt it would be more suited for him.
So it was beneath him.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. We also have Samara Armstrong, who plays, oh my God, and we're going to get into it, but she's Anna Stern in the OC, which we will get into.
Oh, thank you.
Also got
She's also in the music video for Bad Day by Daniel Powter.
True. Very true. These are facts.
Curse
and we
song.
We got Jimmy Simpson, and then we got Wendell Pierce, and we also have Milo Ventimiglia.
Yes.
Wow. That was one of my worst ones yet, I think. Sophia Bush and Adam Goldberg. Question for you guys. Has Adam Goldberg ever played not a douche?
Never, not even for a half a second.
Has he ever aged?
That's a good point. The man looks good.
Yeah, he looks good.
And he's a good actor. He's always good at what he does. Because he's always got to be kind of sporadic, and he doesn't know what he's doing. Like he's kind of like, he's kind of always stressed out.
I feel like
he's like a character actor. He has one character, but he does it well.
Guys,
did you mention the whole cast already? Because I feel like we have somebody.
You
guys. And then we have the GOAT.
Cody Banks himself.
Agent Cody Banks himself, Frankie Muniz. Up in this motherfucker.
Wow. The star of Miracle in Lane 12. I mean, how can
Man, I have seen Miracle in Lane 12.
How can we have Big Fat Liar fame, we have Malcolm in the Middle fame, we have the host of Dancing with the Stars Jr.
Wait a second. The first movie I saw after my parents got a divorce, after they told me they were getting a divorce, they took me the next day. This was after I was watching. So keep in mind, Saturday night, I'm watching She's All That. I'm at the beach scene. Paul Walker's like, you can't. He's talking to Freddie Prinze Jr. and he's like, you can't turn her into prom queen. She's got a ponytail. And my parents are like, guess what? We're splitting up. We don't love each other. But tomorrow we're going to go see My Dog Skip. So we went and saw My Dog Skip starring Frankie Muniz.
And you called it even at that. You're like, it all works out. The numbers add up.
This checks out now.
It does. But I have seen Agent Cody Banks more times than anyone
Jimmy
should
Simpson
ever admit.
Does not get enough credit.
Who?
I love him. Jimmy Simpson.
What has Jimmy Simpson been in? Right. Yeah, I know.
He was in fucking It's Always Sunny. He was in Zodiac too, I think.
Yeah, he is. He's been in a bunch of actually really good shit, like surprisingly good stuff.
Yeah, no, I think he's a great actor.
I would say that Agent Cody Banks 2, Destination London, is a bit of a hidden gem.
So Kyle, why you're holding up your Agent Cody Banks 2 DVD? That's a digital video disc.
Let's be honest, this was not printed on Blu-ray. There's no way there's a Blu-ray copy of this movie.
Okay, what's the full title?
Agent Cody Banks 2, Destination London.
So is it Agent Cody Banks 2?
Nope.
Destination?
Yeah, see, that's why I didn't watch it. I was in love with Hilary Duff at that age, so if she wasn't in it, I'm out.
They took Hilary Duff out and put Hannah Spirit it. She's from S Club 7.
Right, Hannah Spirit. They were trying to make her the new Bond girl, the new Cody Banks girl.
The new
Banks girl?
You were going to be making that Cody Banks money.
Yeah, she, of course, is that. Yeah, well, having Frankie in this film is, like, at this point in time.
That's the selling point. That's the selling point.
It absolutely was. Like, 2006, this film came out, and at that point, he was doing mostly, like, I guess, teen stuff, right? I guess, like, kid stuff, like, films for the youth. And this movie kind of is in a lot of ways. But that was absolutely a selling point. Like, just to kind of see, like, Frankie Muniz in a more, like, mature film, even a horror movie in general, like it was interesting at the time. That was
Let me make this crystal fucking clear. That's one of the best parts of the movie is having Frankie Muniz in this thing and 3 words. I got 3 words for you boys. Upside down visor.
I knew you were going to say it.
Yeah.
I was waiting to talk about it. I'm glad you got to it. Can you imagine getting him right when he's hot like this and you're like, we got to put that visor on him. This is his moment.
That was sick at the time. That was so sick.
Was it ever sick?
Was it though? That's a good question. Was it ever
Wait,
sick?
no, I don't think that was sick in 2006.
Exactly.
I think that would have been that was
Exactly.
past the time where it was 2002. Like we're talking like visors became not acceptable after Take Off Your Pants and Jacket Blink-182 era. Like that's where it was like
fact check the sickness.
This is
right
like
now.
kind of the nunchuck question again, but in a very different context.
Yeah, but nunchucks, I'd like to think that we could all hopefully agree that nunchucks are a million times cooler than visors,
That's not what
upside
I'm
down
trying
or
to say.
otherwise.
I'm just saying,
When has anyone got killed from a visor? Come on.
you'd be
true. But we got to just say, though, that Frankie Muniz, like, I actually think I've always liked Frankie Muniz, and I was a fan of Malcolm in the Middle when I was a kid because it's always fun to watch it. He's kind of like what's his name? Alex, like George Costanza. How am I drawing a blank on his name? Jesus Christ. George Costanza, like how you always like to watch him get worked up. But then you got Frankie Muniz on the other hand, where he's like the young kid version. Oh my God, I'm going to take so much. Jason Alexander, yes. I'm going to take Jason Alexander from Dunstan Checks In. The movie about the monkey. No,
he plays the monkey.
Jason Alexander from Dunstan Checks In is where Jason Alexander lets a monkey rent out a room at his hotel.
What?
Yeah, look it up. I watched that movie.
That's not real.
I watched that movie multiple times.
Send me a trailer.
I gotta say though, like overall, I actually kind of think the cast in this movie is pretty sick. Like especially this time, like Sophia Bush, she was killing it on fucking One
John
Tree
Tucker
Hill.
Must Die. And John Tucker Must Die.
John Tucker Must Die. Like she was an up and kind. Also Van Wilder. She's like at the time she was definitely like blowing up. Even like Jimmy Simpson, you're absolutely right, man. Like he's in Loser, the movie where the Wheatus song Teenage Dirtbag was made
Teenage
for.
Dirtbag. Yeah.
Herbie Fully Loaded, Under the Silver Lake, Westworld, great show.
Can we talk about what everyone's actually came here to talk? Everyone came to listen to our Stay Alive episode for one reason and one reason only.
Okay, what is that?
Seth Cohen chose Summer over Anna.
I can't believe we're going to get into this. You have no idea what you're digging into right now, man.
So in the OC, I believe this was season 3.
No, 2. Season 2.
Okay, sorry, season 2.
Get the facts straight.
I can't believe I fucked that up. But because this was catastrophic. Where
I could not agree more.
This was a loss for dorks everywhere. This was a loss for all of us.
I've been trying to be Seth Cohen my entire life. And
we have all been trying to be Seth Cohen our entire lives.
Like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, you're absolutely right. Seth Cohen not choosing Summer is the most fucked up thing I could ever think of.
He chose Summer over Anna. Anna was into comic books. She was into Death Cab for Cutie. She was into all the stuff he was into.
It's fucked up, but it makes sense.
Seth and Anna would have grown old together. They would have been happy, muchos happiest together. But then you got Summer, who's the abusive brunette. So I guess we all know about that as well.
I have to go no comment on that.
Eventually, you got to comment on something, Kyle. You can't dodge this bullet forever.
No comment on that.
We have all left the proper choice for the abusive brunette before.
Right.
We've all been there. But Samara Armstrong was like, God, she's so adorable. Like she's really cute, really cute, and she's not a terrible actress. She also has been expected to do the same thing in every movie she's ever done or every TV show. Like even in this, she's the same thing as Anna in the OC.
I like the specific kind of like hipster girl though she is in this movie.
Oh my God, yeah.
The camera that she has is not only is it like an old timey camera, but it's like the most like it's like less like the least convenient Polaroid camera you could ever bring around.
It's like she got it from Wish before Wish existed.
You want me to culture you fucking simpletons? I'm gonna culture you fucking assholes. That is the exact replica camera from Fatal Frame.
Oh,
another video game horror video game. Kyle took his headphones out. Kyle, Or are you pulling out? Okay. No, but Kyle, you missed what I was saying.
Sorry.
Okay. That camera is the same camera from Fatal Frame, the horror video game. That's why they put it in. Yeah, there's tons. Okay, let's start talking about Stay Alive, boys. We're 10 minutes in and we've only talked about this.
Bellows extension. I don't know. I just think it was so fucking funny when she shows up to the fucking.
It's too bad we're not a video podcast because these fucking COVID episodes that we've been doing are 90% video. So hopefully people enjoy.
Kyle's pulled out his 1920 black and white takes 3 hours to develop camera, so we're all gonna sit still till that's done.
Like I just don't understand what universe she thought. Oh yeah, this is the most practical camera.
It's because it was a reference to Fatal Frame, and I appreciate it. Okay, guys, first of all, let's get on to Stay Alive.
Okay, that's really.
You guys all in for it?
Yeah.
One thing I'm going to say is I don't know if, for all I know, Kyle owns multiple DVDs of this. I don't own it. I had to rent it on iTunes. I'm assuming Buzi also rented it on iTunes. And when you rent it on iTunes, I just want to say we watched the theatrical cut. So, Kyle, did you rent it as well, or do you own a copy of this movie?
This was my first time ever watching Stay Alive.
No way. Really?
Yes.
Holy smokes. So
this is the ultimate random episode.
All right. Okay, so we all watched the theatrical cut, which is 15 minutes less than the director's cut.
Right. And I looked into what the director's cut was about, and that kind of sounds sick. I wish I looked up the YouTube, there's clips of it on YouTube, and it's real goofy. But yes, we watched the theatrical cut, and this is my first time ever seeing it. But the reason I wanted to watch it is just because it just like popped into my fucking memory. I don't even know why, but this was a movie gallery staple, like a local video store, a chain of video stores, I guess, where like it would just be forever on almost every shelf, not even in the horror section.
It was never rented out.
Never rented out. It was always there, and I actually always wanted to see it because, like, I don't know, Frankie Muniz is cool. The OC is cool. Everything we just talked about
Bush
is why I wanted to watch this movie. And it was always like for exclusively for the kids who owned an Xbox 360 in 2006. I don't know. I think for this kind of film, you have to realize what you're getting yourself into. Like, this is a really specific movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think I knew within this was all of our first times watching this.
No. I've
never seen it before.
Yeah, this was my second. This was my 5
minutes. I knew what I was in for, and I was worried. I was really worried.
I'm with you, Buzi. But yeah. Well, Mitch, tell us what is your history with this film then, Mitch? When did you said this? You said this on a sleepover. You said, right?
This had a wide release.
Oh yeah. This was a big movie, and so.
Where was I?
It was.
I just disappeared. Apparently,
this was released by Hollywood Pictures. So, in which this was the year. This was the first movie that was released. I think it had to have been at least the first genre film that was released through Hollywood Pictures after Disney bought them. So the movie had already been filmed, and they made an 18A R-rated cut, and then Disney bought the movie. Or bought the studio, and then they demanded it to be cut down to a PG-13 rating. And then we lost 15 minutes of the movie. So when I first saw this movie, I thought it was a piece of shit. Because, like, it's pretty silly. It's pretty dumb. But this is a really entertaining movie. It may be ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This is not a good movie. But it's entertaining, and I see the ideas there, but it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see the theatrical cut, because even though that doesn't make a whole world of a difference, I think that the director's cut at least would have given it a chance. Unfortunately, we're going to be critiquing a movie that wasn't William Brent Bell's direction. This wasn't what he wanted to show people, and like it's upsetting I can't imagine how obviously this is a thing that happens to a lot of filmmakers. It's been happening for years and years and years and years. So like, this is just something that happens when studios interfere. And you could feel within the first 5 minutes of this movie, you could feel within the opening scene, this is a studio interference problem. Because like you have the opening scene of that really good looking nerd. So it's just a guy with a beard and glasses. It's like, hey, we got to make this good looking, attractive nerd. We got to make this good looking guy a nerd. And he's a game developer. He's a game tester. Let's give him glasses. Fucking nerd. So now he's got glasses. And then so the whole story, all you need to know about Stay Alive is you die in the game, you die for real. That's yes, it's ridiculous. You know what's also ridiculous? 45% of the horror genre. Like, these types of movies.
I don't even think it's that
you have to play video games no matter where the PC is. You need to play that. You have to.
I don't know. I think the premise, like, okay, I guess it's silly in the grand scheme of things, but I think it's fine. I actually think that's a pretty fun premise for a film.
It is a fun premise, yeah. But you know that you're in for a silly film.
That's a good point, and I think actually that lends to this film's success. I thought this movie was a fuck ton of fun. Like, again, not a good movie, to reiterate your statement, Mitch, but boy, did I laughed a lot in this movie and had a really fun time with it. I mean, the first, 5 minutes, there's some guy randomly, fucking his girlfriend with a pig mask on for no reason.
Yeah, see, I remember...
that shit was sick.
A prime example is I remember this movie being way worse when I was a critical teen who didn't understand movies at all. But I just it was that, when you're a teenager, you hate popular things, but you don't know why.
Right.
You don't know why yet. You haven't made up your own mind. So you look at a movie like Stay Alive and it's going to be silly. You're not taking it seriously. When I was a teenager, I didn't take this stuff seriously at all. I just thought it was a not good movie. But looking back on it now, it definitely had potential. And I think that it succeeds in a couple parts. And it succeeds at being fun all these years later, even though it makes no sense, though. The theatrical cut, it's actually, the theatrical cut is it's a travesty because it physically makes no sense. Well, there's...
You're right. It makes no sense, but I don't think, it's, again, this is the kind of movie, this is I don't even know. I think we've definitely covered films like this on the show before. Where
they don't need to make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but I don't think it really takes away from the experience totally. To be honest, it's not the kind of movie where
it's almost more fun if it's more dumb.
In a way, yeah. I mean, maybe some people would consider that a negative, and I think that would be a valid criticism. But for myself, I don't want to speak for you two, but in this case, when a movie is dumb and kind of knows it and relishes in those dumb aspects, I can have a hell of a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and I think this movie actually does that quite a few times. Unfortunately, though, there are times where they take it way too seriously. I think the movie's problem is where it does take it very seriously. But we got to get on to the other question that's on everyone else's mind is who remembers Ball's energy drink?
I don't.
You guys remember Balls?
Run for Hell, Like Hell, the video game, sponsored by Balls Energy.
Man, remember what was it in Center Mall in Saskatoon? They had the little Campus Cove.
Yeah,
it was.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah, Campus Cove is all the computer set up for kids to play Battlefield. It was it was back when they had stores open where kids could just come and you could have an account and you could play Battlefield or whatever on your computer, Battlefield or Counter-Strike. But you would have to get money from your parents for Ball's energy drink. Because Ball's energy drink is like Powerade, but for virgins.
It is the most try-hard. It was such a try-hard premise from the start, and all their slogans being fucking grab my balls and shit.
I don't even remember Ball's energy drink for a fucking
second. It was blue.
It was blue, and it had it was like a studded for blue. Yeah, and it was the bottle was studded for your pleasure.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I went windshield wiper fluid blue.
Oh,
that's how fucking
bullshit. I remember this.
Man,
I never drank this. I never bought this ever.
I remember Balls blew up first before Red Bull. Balls hit before Red Bull did.
They were OGs.
Yeah.
This is really funny. I love shit like this. But this whole movie is actually in a lot of ways very much
it's Balls energy drink movie.
It really is. This movie has balls.
It's a time capsule because
that's exactly it.
The things that I do, I think a lot of people are expecting us to just shit all over this movie, and I'm not going to do that because there's actually a lot of good things about this movie, but it's obviously a failure. It's obviously it wasn't what they wanted to accomplish. There's no way this was. Well, obviously, it wasn't what the director wanted. His movie was cut down by almost 20 minutes.
Yeah, but in all fairness, what was cut from it like
is also stupid.
yes, exactly.
Yes, it is. But okay, so what was cut from from his movie is like he had a reason, like an explanation behind how the game was made and how it was programmed by a real human being who was like obsessed with Bathory and like these ancient folk tales, and that's how she somehow got into the game. But what we got in the theatrical cut is this fucking Bathory developed this game.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
Yeah, so like, but that's almost better.
It is almost better.
I was
actually
just
totally
rolling
agree.
with it.
Yeah,
just to think about it.
Yeah.
Also, like how she's like, this is jumping the gun a little bit, but like she was so well preserved after like hundreds of years. At the end of this movie, like she's, oh my god.
Would you say that she had body karate going on?
Body karate. Oh, the wazoo.
Fact going on.
Yeah, facts.
So you have a premise where you die in the video game, you die in real life, and you'd think that you'd think you would see like deaths, like you'd think you would see more interesting deaths, you know, because there's a lot of like room for creativity with that premise. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a Nightmare. We talked about that in length.
I think this is all studio shit though. I think that's studio problem.
Maybe, I guess so. Okay, fair enough. Like they maybe wanted to like sort of censor the film to some extent to make it more accessible with a different rating. That makes sense. But the one thing I have to say though is like this movie is based inside a video game for a lot of the film, and it's from 2006. So like the visuals and the CGI of the video game are from 2006. So they look like, I don't know, PS2.
Oh, Kyle, I have so much to add to this when you're done.
And the thing about it, though, is like it's dated in a sense, but it's also kind of not. Like watching it now, I know exactly when it's from, and I get it, and I'm like, okay, well, this isn't meant to be realistic. It's a video game, and when it's actually in the real world, it kind of works, in my opinion. It never feels super like it's never like now modern films, or even for the past like 15 years, I guess, they've been trying to make CGI look as realistic as possible so that it's believable as possible. But when I'm already watching this film and I know what's coming into the real world is from a video game, which is in no realm of reality, I kind of buy it more. It kind of worked more for me to be completely honest with you. Like
I get where you're coming from with that. Yeah, totally.
Like it felt goofy. I'm not going to say it was like the best visuals I've ever seen, but at the same time, it like made sense, like visual sense within the film. And that was something I was not expecting. Like, yeah, we don't see a lot of like interesting, like, or gruesome kills. And that's kind of maybe something that the film could have benefited from. But at the same time, like when like the real world and the video game world was kind of mixing together, I kind of liked that. I kind of liked that shit. Maybe that's just.
I just want to say. So you kind of hit it on the head where I was going, is that 2006. So Gears of War, we got Wii Sports. We got such fucking classics as Call of Duty 3, Guitar Hero 2. So think about all the graphics going on, and the graphics that they put in this movie are actually pretty good. Comparably.
I agree.
It's like when you watch Grandma's Boy and they show the game and you're like, it looks pretty good.
I could not agree more. I'm with you.
You know what's crazy too is that also I didn't hear anything that just happened in the last 2 minutes because it just glitched like crazy and I completely lost you guys. So hopefully it recorded and it's fine. But I think I have a grasp on what you guys are talking about. But as far as the graphics go for that game, it's actually crazy because the studio made them make the graphics worse than what they originally had because they didn't want it to look as real.
Look as real?
Yeah, because like there's the scene with
because it would have blown us away.
Exactly. Well, no, but the thing is, they because if it would have been too real, they would have had to up the rating. And like there's the scene with the cop who has that like he has like the trap on his mouth that kind of rips it like in the video game. And they I found a YouTube clip of like what it was supposed to look like. And it was way, or like they were explaining what it was supposed to look like, and they definitely made it look way more animated and cartoonish in the movie, which is it's impossible to make it. It's impossible to make a cartoon scary. it's not going to be scary.
It's
Right.
definitely an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah.
I guess
At least
go
if
ahead,
you're
Buzi.
just watching it, because like I
Yeah.
just talked about The Last of Us forever,
No.
and I was talking about how like if you're controlling it, that's a whole different story. But if you're just watching a like animated cartoon, it's not going to be scary.
well, especially in this film where it's kind of just like spliced in, like it's not really like you're not immersed in just a cartoon or something like that.
And it's kind of like it's like a best of compilation of like Silent Hill and like Fatal Frame and all those like what was that other one? Fear.
Resident
Like
Evil.
Resident Evil, like there's all, and like that's where I think all the strengths in this movie. I really appreciated the effort, the extra mile that they went to try and show that they're gamers and they respect the culture. But at the same time, okay, so yeah, I see you guys are laughing. I see you guys are
Gamers
laughing.
rise up.
This is the sickest shit since Fatal Frame.
No, but that's the thing though, is that they tried, but it didn't work because unfortunately because of rights and everything, they were forced to have, they couldn't use they like even on like I guess like there's little things to do with like their lighters were supposed to have like Zelda symbols on them. Like they wanted to have Easter eggs of like all these video games that inspired all these people in the movie, but they couldn't get it for obvious reasons, which is rights. And so instead what they're left with is a bunch of like super fourth party looking controllers and like systems and consoles, and that's what's going to make it age so poorly. There's so many things about this that are going to make it age poorly, but that doesn't help it at all.
Well, you can't all be Ready Player One. Like, you know, you can't afford all.
They don't have the budget for that. They don't have the budget for that. So you got to.
I mean, I guess I agree that would have helped the experience, but I think there was enough little things here and there that like I could gravitate towards and kind of get that same like sentiment from. But like that's kind of too bad to hear. That is too bad.
That's why I liked when you guys were so rudely making fun of her camera. I enjoyed knowing that was about her like the Fatal Frame camera. Like,
but that's almost like too much of a reach. Like sure, but then she uses it throughout the whole film, and it's
you know what? I'm starting to think you might be a little bit Team Summer here, Kyle.
I think I am Team Summer for sure, to be honest.
You're sick. You'll grow out of it.
Can I just say what I thought the scariest part of this film was?
So sure.
The fact that Hutch washed his red Solo cups in the sink. That was the most fucked up thing I've seen in my entire life.
Yo, poor boys club. I feel that.
You know what? Sometimes you got to ball on a budget.
But that shit, you don't put that in a movie. You do not.
No, man. If you're buying, you don't understand how expensive Ball's energy drink was. It was like $6 a bottle for that shit.
I'll reuse the bottles then. Like that's cooler than a fucking red Solo cup. I'm sorry.
Do you guys feel like the peer pressure in this movie to get Frankie Muniz to smoke weed was real? I feel like that was just
Like
things happening on set, and it just stayed in the movie. Because the whole time he's like, no, I'm good.
That's so charming.
No,
man.
honestly,
Shut up, Frankie.
I'm gonna be real. I didn't buy that at all because I was like, in reality, on set, Frankie Muniz was providing everyone with a blow.
Right.
Well, that's the nice thing to do. He's honestly a nice guy for doing that.
Yeah, he's got that Malcolm in the Middle money.
See, I had so many notes on here, and when I went through to read them again, one that really stuck out to me, and it'll just throw us randomly into the story of this movie, but I wrote down, did this motherfucker just get mowed over by a fucking horse and buggy?
Yeah, what's up with that?
And it looked so bad.
But like, I don't know. It felt like Sleepy Hollow, and I was okay with the Sleepy Hollow vibes with that, and the galloping, and you're not really showing anything, and then just randomly a horse and buggy comes through.
But that's what makes it. It's impossible for it to rack up any sort of tension when it looks like N64.
I love that character. Phineas, is that his name?
Yeah, Finn.
He was so sick. Every time, sup, mama.
That's because you were one of those guys with the toques. You were totally one of those guys with the toques with the strings on the side.
Oh, I wish that was Dan.
You used to sell, I was you'd sell ecstasy that was just laced with a couple different.
You mean dudes who appreciate snowboarding? Yeah. That's all those toques are. Is I'm gonna wear them year round, so people know I snowboard.
There was one part of this movie that made me laugh so much. It's when Phineas looks like he's or Finn, when he looks like he's like maybe passed out on his computer or something, and they're like scared. They're scared he's like been killed in the game or some shit. They're like, "Oh, are you okay, Finn? I'm pulling this bitch. What does it look like, man?" He just has the bong in his hand.
I feel like Cabin in the Woods was like directly referencing that.
Oh,
with the, you know what I mean? With the fucking mug and shit. Like, I feel like they were farcing because this character has been done so many times.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like we should do a definitive ranking of stoners in horror movies because I think that would be a cool list.
He was really good. Like, he kind of carried the first half of the movie for me, if I'm being completely honest. That guy gave me a lot of joy.
Well, yeah, he's like the only one who's not like super fucking just boring and hateable. Besides Frankie Muniz, who shows up with a upside down visor and goes, "Oh yeah, hey guys, I'm always in the middle. Oh my god."
Mitch, can you tell the audience what Frankie Muniz's character's name is?
Oh fuck. Yes, Swink.
What?
Swink. His name is Swink.
Is that like a? Do they delve into why?
I don't know. It just, that to me sounds like the campus rapist.
Well,
That guy sounds nice to see for sure.
There's like cool names where you're like, oh, I'm Dodge because I used to play dodgeball, but like, what the fuck are you gonna get out of Swink? Where's that coming from?
Yeah, that dude.
Wait,
yeah,
I'm Dodge because I used to play dodgeball.
yeah, that's bad
You
too.
think of something on the spot, Kyle.
I'm sorry. I have to say, Swink killed me. What a fucking insane name. That's like naming your kid Blaze. That's so crazy.
Or Stokely.
Or Stokely.
Honestly,
Oh, this movie is so much fun, guys. I swear to God. Like, I had such a fucking blast watching this movie. Did you guys ever watch, or like have the channel like G4 Tech TV?
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
There's the one part where Swink is like, "Oh my god, I never saw this on Reviews on the Run on G4 Tech TV."
Oh my god, yes.
did you mark out for that?
Yes. There was that one guy who's always on Reviews on a Run, and I saw him recently, and he looks like the exact same, but like 45 years older. But he's like, it's only been like 15 years.
Oh,
Why can't more movies reference like video and arcade top 10? I would lose my shit if a movie referenced that.
It's a strictly Canadian thing, though. I think that's why we don't get enough love.
It's
but
so
that's fair.
good, though. But I mean, honestly, anyone who says size doesn't matter has never played a third-person shooter. These are real lines. These are real lines from a movie. And this is a woman, like, just desecrate. Who the fuck would she say that to? She just fucking owns somebody, and he's like, "Oh, I have a penis." I don't know. Like, you guys have been so nice to this movie. I'm just gonna say, other than like clever musings to myself, I did not have a lot of fun with this. I want a cheesy slasher, honestly.
That's what I got out of this.
This is like a cheesy ghost movie. I was going to ask you guys the semantics of what is she at the end? Is she a ghost or a corpse? She's obviously flammable, but I don't know.
It does not matter. I think the way what I wanted from BRAHMS the Boy 2, I got out of Stay Alive. that's basically
it's at least so fucking ridiculous that it's kind of entertaining to watch because it's so fucking of its time. Yeah, like this is a movie that came out 10 years way too late too. Like this is 10 years past its time.
What? Can you imagine if this came out in like 95 or 96? Like,
yeah, it'd be way better.
The graphics would be so bad.
Yeah, it'd be way better. We get like a Lawnmower Man or something like that. That would be way better than
just this. Paperboy.
Yeah, I like that way more.
With Buzi, I think the graphics are good enough. Like at this point,
I don't think you can go back any farther.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I personally feel this movie will it has been forgotten, but Kyle unfortunately just dug it up again. People forgot about this movie.
I don't even remember what it was. I just it literally just popped into my brain, and I texted the group chat right away. Like, thoughts on Stay Alive? I don't even know. It came into my head out of nowhere. But
Mitch, Mitch, I just want to say, if you want to talk about this movie being made 10 years prior, watch Arcade from 1993 and tell me that the graphics can hold a story, because it cannot.
Well, the graphics in this can't hold a story either.
Better than 93.
Yeah, but that's why. But the reason Kyle and I enjoyed this movie is because it failed.
It's a good point. That's
why I think the more failures, the better when it comes to a story like this. But that also opens up a whole other conversation of is there a possibility that we're ever going to delve into a horror video game story and it will be effective and it'll work? Is there a
film
chance?
or in a video game? Sorry,
in a film.
No.
Like
The answer is also Arcade from 1993.
Yeah. Okay. Or like fucking like Lawnmower Man or Brain Scan.
No, I guess you're right, Mitch. Like the concept was kind of
Brain Scan.
Yeah,
There you
Brain
go.
Scan.
This concept is
Kyle.
kind of like dead on arrival in a lot of ways, but I think
Someone needed to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Someone needed to do it. Like there, in a lot of ways, like this movie had to be made. Like
Yeah.
At
It had to be made
specific
so that
time.
everyone knew not to make any more.
yeah, and
But
like
it's like it's the equivalent of like fear.com. Like it can only happen in those couple of years. You will never see anything like it again.
See, that's the thing though, is that I need to rewatch Fear.com because I didn't like that one
Can
when
I
I
watch
first
it
saw
with
it
you?
as well.
'Cause it's
Let's watch it.
amazing.
Let's do it. But the thing is, I think the reason why I'm being positive about this is because the movie didn't bore me, which is somehow means that I'm going to give it a positive review because previously I've always just thought this movie was just a turd. And it's like, hey, at least it kept my attention and it made me giggle a few times in the hour and 25 minutes that I watched it. But other than that, there's nothing really to be said about the fucking movie.
Was this movie made for gamers? Is there a community of
They were trying.
horror video gamers that really would connect with this?
That's why I appreciated what they were trying. I saw the effort that was made.
I think they tried. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it succeeded, but I think
I don't think they succeeded. I don't think they succeeded either. But I don't think that was entirely the filmmaker's fault, and I don't think it was the cast. Like I think once again, like they're not strong writers. Like not to mention, like obviously William Brent Bell didn't write The Boy 2. So this was written by the Stay Alive was written by himself and his friend who wrote The Devil Inside, which I think is probably the worst horror movie of the last 20 years. And this one, I just no, it's not even that. It's the worst ending in the last. I truthfully think that's the worst ending I've ever experienced in a theater is The Devil Inside, and I don't know how you could debate that. There isn't an ending to The Devil Inside. So what's that?
With Stay Alive, like a lot of it doesn't hit, but some things do hit well. Like I think they're like
Kyle, they don't ever work. There's not one time.
Man.
There's not one time where you're creeped out.
Okay, hear me out.
She was in the backseat of the car like Michael Myers in broad daylight.
I think the execution of like how people are killed off in this movie, terrible. Doesn't work once. But I think the premise is at least legible. Like as fucked up as this thing is,
it's not legible. It's not at all.
This isn't The Fly.
100-year-old ghost developed this game.
Yeah, I think there's just a part of my brain here. There's a part of my brain here that I don't think could see this movie in a bad light. This movie was something special.
I'm glad you could fucking jerk yourself off to watch this. I did not have a good time.
Like,
all right, I'm in the middle.
I don't even know. Like, I also loved the aesthetic of this movie, like all like the purple, like weird blue, like wallpaper and shit. Like it was like a Vampire Freaks website come to life. I love that. It's so specific. Maybe, I mean, it's
again,
nostalgia for sure.
The energy drink.
It
feels like Balls the Energy Drink, the movie. It feels like 2006, the movie.
It is, and I don't know. I guess, like, just to be honest, like, I like this movie for the same reasons I like something like House of Wax. Like that's what I get out of this movie.
House of Wax is way better.
Yeah, it's a million times
better. I'm not saying either is better or worse. I'm just saying, like, for a lot of the same reasons I would defend that film, I would defend Stay Alive, to be honest with you. Like, I think, I think anyone
Except
of any
for House
age,
of Wax delivers in every way. This doesn't in one. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
It's just
have
like,
the same opinion as me.
I don't know. I think like at this time, like there was always like media was trying to make things about video games and trying to make it sound interesting, and it almost never worked. Like think of all like the movies based on video games. There's been like maybe one good one. I don't even know. Probably not.
Pokemon probably.
Pokemon, maybe Sonic. I don't know.
Sonic was fun.
But it took like 25 years for that to happen. I think like Stay Alive is a product of that idea, and no, it didn't work. But I just would have to be lying if I didn't say this movie is a hell lot of fun. Like this, I think you'll have a fun time if you crack a couple beers and watch Stay Alive. I really think that.
Yeah,
so you're saying you need to be inebriated to watch it.
Sure. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know. I feel like I really enjoy kind of campy, fun, silly movies. But I couldn't get with this, like, right from the hop. And then just writing stuff down and going like, wow, this is what we got. And I actually really like that, like, this director made Where, which is a really fucking good movie, and it's like very well grounded and stuff. And then watching this, it's so backwards.
But
like,
also, I
know they predate each other, but
not only that, well, Where came out after this.
no, that's what I mean. Like, it does predate it.
But also, Where was the only film that he's made that wasn't made on like a studio level, which is something to be said too. Is that I think like it shows that he's had to deal with a lot of studio interference, which a lot of directors do, and
Right.
but at the same time, you can still see that this wasn't going to work to begin with.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to work
Yeah, it
to
was
begin
dead on
with.
arrival.
Still so much fun,
Yeah.
though.
It
I
totally
love
was.
that.
But
It was so
at the
much fun.
same time, though, I'm with Kyle where you know enough years have passed, I can have fun with it.
I think I need to definitely admit that, like, this is a kind of film that speaks to my interest in a very specific way. And I'm just gonna take solace in that. So shout out Stay Alive. Shout out Alienware laptops. Shout out third-party Dreamcast
Yes.
controllers. Shout out Game Informer magazine.
So many Dreamcast stuff. So many Dreamcast controllers.
Kyle,
Do you think it's because they could just use them because they went bankrupt?
Probably.
Because that would have been around the same time. Hey,
Well,
it
they were
would have
just
been
all
like a
Mad
couple
Catz
years.
ones. They probably got a Mad Catz license.
Yeah, but
Hey,
no, wait. When
Mad
did
Catz was
Dreamcast
the
go
best.
bankrupt?
Well, Dreamcast was Sega, so like they
Fuck
just stopped
Mad Catz.
making. They just stopped making
what do you mean,
Dreamcast.
fuck
No.
Mad Cats? That was the fucking broke kid place to go, was Mad Cats. They
Couldn't
don't
agree.
make those
Exactly.
anymore?
Exactly.
Mad Catz just went out of business like a year ago, I think.
Oh, rest in peace. I just got to ask, though, like, Kyle, because you obviously enjoyed this movie the most. Would you watch it again, and how soon?
I'd probably watch it like next month, to be honest.
No, you wouldn't.
You liked it that much?
Absolutely.
Kyle, let's also point out what you gave it on Letterboxd.
Okay, don't do me like this though. Like you have to get into this for like the millionth time.
Pull up.
Okay,
You gave it a half star more than I did, I guess.
I gave it a 2.5, which in my mind is like that's a 5 out of 10. That's like
It's a 50%.
That's a 50% movie, which I think, based on what I've said, I think that
That's
makes
way
it
too high.
But you'll watch it again next month?
better than Sorority Row.
I will fuck with that
challenge you.
100%.
I will challenge you to fucking watch that movie again next month.
No, I wouldn't make him do that, but I will 100% back Kyle up and saying I 1000% enjoyed this more than Sorority Row.
Sorority Row had better kills.
This movie is better than Brahms the Boy too.
It is definitely, yeah,
Like,
definitely.
I don't know. I think I've learned over the years that things
There's
that
a personality in this movie.
yeah, exactly. Things that bore me are gonna get like I'm gonna forget it. Like I don't even know what happened in what was it? What is it? Dream Master? I don't even know what happened in Dream Master.
Which is also funny considering Kyle watches like the most like artsy movies that most people would be like there's a lot of people out there who'd be like Under the Skin is boring as shit. Like, which I obviously don't feel. I obviously don't agree with that, but there's a lot of people out there who would say that's boring.
I think there's a difference between slow and boring though.
That's
I think
showbiz, baby. It's showbiz.
like if a movie can be slow and boring, but a movie could also have a lot going on and be boring. And in my mind, that's the worst offense you can make.
Yeah, agreed.
So
All right, boys. I don't.
Bob's the boy too.
Yeah, we can't. We got to stop talking about Stay Alive. So
I think to listeners out there, if you haven't seen 2006's Stay Alive, go out there, seek it out, find the theatrical cut, and watch it, and have a great time. I think. Yeah, that's my stamp of approval. Maybe drink a Perrier while you're doing so. Maybe bring out an old.
Balls energy drink.
If you can get a Balls energy drink off eBay, be careful.
I bet there's a lot somewhere out there of them.
There's got to be, because I even remember the taste of balls, and it was not good.
Somebody edit that.
Someone has to grab that.
I want it as a ringtone.
We all remember.
The sweet taste of balls.
All right. This was a lot of fun. Another episode in the bank of the Terror Table. We will be back next week with our interview/discussion with filmmaker Michael Peterson, director and writer behind Knuckleball and producer of Harpoon. We'll see you guys next week on the Terror Table.
Take care.
Fuck 12.
Fuck 12.